Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make an espresso from the beginning to the end. As I go, I will explain why I do the things I do and why I think that they are the best practices for making espresso. First thing we'll do is grab our portafilter, and you should do this ergonomically in a way that doesn't hurt your wrists or your shoulder. And I recommend, if you can, grab the handle with two hands to unlock and lock the portafilter in place. Now, if you had any spent coffee in here, you would knock it out into the knock box, but this is a clean portafilter, so we're good to go. This is also a good chance for you to purge the group head early on in the process. Give it a quick pulse, not very much water, just a little bit to clean the shower screen. Now, it's important that you purge as early as possible in the process. This is so that by the time you have the coffee ready to go, you're going to lock it in to the group head and not have any water droplets dripping onto your puck of coffee. Once you've knocked out the puck of coffee, you want to follow a key phrase. That is clean, dry, and hot. We want it to be clean because we don't need any old coffee getting into the next batch. We want it to be dry because any water left in the basket has potential to cause side channeling. This is where the water can escape around the outside of the puck and pass through more quickly under extracting the coffee. And we want it to be hot because we don't want any of this nice hot water to be sapped into the metal or any of the other components. We want all of that hot water to be extracting the coffee at its full temperature. So don't leave this out for too long. You want to get on with the process and prepare your espresso. Now we're going to weigh the basket. We'll put the portafilter on a scale and zero it out. Now we'll grind our coffee. We are aiming here for 18 grams, so I'm going to put it back on the scale and see where we're at. So I'm a little bit under. I will add a little bit more. And now I'm going to take a little bit off. That was 18.1 grams, and that's definitely within our range of error. Especially at a cafe, I recommend being a little bit more conscious about wasting coffee, and about a 0.3 gram difference is acceptable. And now we get to the two most varied and sometimes debated aspects of espresso. That is distribution and tamping. But to reduce our stress a little bit, we should ask ourselves, what is it we need from this step? Well, the goal is to have an even extraction so that we can pull the most out of the coffee and have a balanced cup. That means that we want the water to go through the grounds of coffee as evenly and uniformly as possible to promote even extraction. But remember, water always follows the path of least resistance. It's always trying to screw you up. So if the center of your puck is more dense with coffee than the outside, the water is going to go through the outside portions more quickly than the center. If the puck is tamped on an angle, the shorter side is going to have more water passing through it because the water will pass through that side quicker. So here's what I do to distribute and tamp. First, I knock the grounds vertically as they come out of the grinder. This collapses some of the grounds and helps the next step be a little bit cleaner. Horizontally, I'm now going to lightly tap the side of the portafilter in order to distribute the grounds evenly across the bed. Once it appears flat, you're ready to tamp. Now, I'll grab my tamper and holding the portafilter fairly level on the table, I'm going to just place the tamper inside and use my fingers to line up the edges with the tamper. This is going to set me up to do a even and equal tamp down. You also want to worry here a little bit about the ergonomics, again, to protect your wrists and protect your shoulders. When you're tamping, you should be standing next to it around a 90-degree angle with your arm, and try to use your stomach muscles, your back muscles, and your shoulders as well to distribute some of the weight. So now I will push down with just enough force until I feel the grounds stop moving. As I was pushing, I used my fingers as a guide with the tamper to ensure that I was pushing down both sides at the same time. that I wasn't pushing unevenly on either side. Always check that the tamp is even and flat in the basket, and if it's way off, just remake the shot, and you don't want to give someone a bad espresso. The last step before you put it inside the group head is to clean off any of the grounds remaining on the edges here and the lip of the basket. These little grounds can get stuck in between the metal and the rubber gasket inside the group head, and that could cause flow issues and water issues because of the gasket not sealing. So you want to make sure that those are all clean and ready to go. Once tamped, you want to be very careful with the puck. Any sort of knock on the metal, on the machine, on the table, your hands, can potentially create cracks in the portafilter that can cause channels where the water rushes through and under extracts the coffee. Again, putting it into the group head, you want to be careful to use both hands if you can, and you want to start the shot right away. I'm sure that there's not much happening to the coffee as it's sitting in the hot environment for 5 or 6 seconds, but if you wait too long, 30 seconds to a minute, it has potential to affect the flavor and the aroma of the coffee long term. I recommend trying this out, tasting an espresso that is side by side, where you made one properly and then you made one leaving the portafilter in the group head for a minute, 2 minutes, and see the difference. Now you probably noticed that this machine stopped itself because it has scales built in to stop at a certain amount of grams. Now we have it programmed to stop at 35 grams, which is a 1:2 ratio of 18 grams in, 35, 36 grams out. If you're at home and you don't have a scale built in like most people, you probably want to get a separate scale, put it underneath the portafilter, and stop it manually just a few grams before your target weight.